Hello and welcome back to Python Fundamentals. In my previous video, I covered some inbuilt methods related to testing strings and converting strings. In this video, I'll explain about some inbuilt methods related to searching strings. So the first method is ends with. So x dot ends with. This is a method which will return true if the string ends with a substring. So this is the string I have taken. This is Python class as a string. Now I will search with a substring. Suppose if I give S, so it returns true. That means this method returns true if the string ends with substring. Here the substring is SS. Because the string has ended with SS, it returns true. Now suppose if you take another substring and use the same method instead of SS, if I say is, that means is the string ended with is, let us check false because the ending words are S and S. So this is the first method called ends with. And similar to this, we have a method called starts with. So it returns true if the string starts with the substring. So we can write starts with. Starts with, right? So let us see whether the string started with is or not. No, because the string started with this, so it has the starts with return false. Now, if I take the same string and say that the string start with the substring this or th, then true. So that is the second method called starts with. And then you have another method called count. So what it does is it returns the number of occurrence of substring in string. So it will count how many times that substring has occurred in a string. Let us suppose I'll write count of, because here I think I is present. Let us check with the letter that is present in the string first. Suppose if I write I, let us see the result 2 times. Yes, because here one I is there and here the second I. So the count is 2. Let us suppose if I say is, it returns 2 because here we have one is and here there is another is. So that is the count method. And the next method is called find. So find position, it finds the position of substring within the string. So it gives the position value. So let us suppose if I read find, next method is called find. Right, find, if I write I, what, let us see what it returns. So find, it has returned the first positional value of I, right? Because it is the 0th position, right? This is 0th position, this is first position, this is the second position. So find, it returns position of substring within the string. Okay. We can also give with the beginning and end characters. Suppose I want to search I after, I think this is 0, 1, 2, 3, after 4 to 7 characters, let us see whether it returns a position of this I or not. So here I didn't mention where to begin within the string, but now I'll give with the beginning and end and ask to find the character. You can use a character or a word also. So X find I, comma, beginning with suppose 4 and ending with 9, the positional values, right? So from position 4 to 9, is there I? So let us find. Yes, at 5, because this is 0th place, T is in 0th place, H1, I2, S3, and then we have space, and then this I is in the 5th position. So from 4th position to 9th position, we have searched for I. That is called find. We can also use another method called the similar to find, that is called R find. R find. So this is R find. It returns position of last occurrence of string. So we write, suppose whether I is in the last position or not. I will take suppose A. Let us see whether A is in the last position or not. So from the last occurrence, so R find 18. Yes, this is the position of A. So from the last occurrence of string, we search the character A. Let us suppose we take one more as I from last. So I. Yes, it has written. So this is the R find. So these are the methods for searching strings. These are called the substrings. Substring can be a single character or group of characters. So searching of a string can be done by using the methods called ends with, starts with, count, find, and R find. Starts with. So starts with returns true if the string starts with the substring, right? If the string starts with the substring that is mentioned here, then it will return true, else it will return false, right? And ends with returns true if the string ends with the substring. So here we have given SS because the substring, it has ended with SS, it returned true, but here we have given the substring as is because the string is not ended with the is substring, so it returned false. That is called ends with. And count will count the occurrence of the substring in a string. In the count we can give a single character, we can give words or group of characters, right? Here I have given single character, where here I have given group is a word, right? So I have counted how many times is occurred in the string of X, right? So next is a find, the find option, find method. It returns first occurrence of string if it is found, and if it is not there, it will return -1. Let us check this one also. Let us see if there is no word or there is no substring in that, whether it returns -1 or not. I'll take Z because Z is not there in the string. So it will return -1. That is the find method. So these are some of the methods for searching strings. Ends with, starts with, count, find, and R find. And there are some other methods to learn other than this testing strings and converting strings and searching strings. Let us see some of them which are important to learn. The first one is called LGest and RGest and center. So we'll see what is LGest, justification, right? RGest and center. And these methods they're used for string alignment. So this is left justification, this is right justification, this is center. So in this brackets, you have to give the position, right? So these methods are used for string alignment in a field of given length. So you should give the length or width here. You have to mention here. So some padding, it will pad with this, or it will fill with some characters also. But first we'll see with only just the length. Suppose x is equal to, I'll take A, B, and C. And then if I write x dot left justify with some number. So what it does is, let us see what it does. See, so it has filled with the, because there are already 3 characters and it has filled with the spaces, right? So if you don't mention with what you want to fill, it will fills with the white spaces. Let us suppose if I say I want to fill the space with some character or some symbol. Let us see the output of this. So A, B, C are 3. And then the other 2 places are filled with the stars. So that is called left justification. Similarly, you can go for right justification. You can give the length, that is with how many spaces you want to fill it. Or you can give with any character, you can fill the spaces with any character. So that is called as right justification, similar to left. Suppose we'll say 6. First, we'll take only the length. So see, to the right, 3 white spaces are added. Now we'll give to fill with some pattern. Suppose I'll say comma with the x, a character x, then with only one character x, then the remaining spaces will be filled with the character s. This is how you can align the strings with the left justification and right justification. And also we have center. Let us see what is called the center. So center, first we'll give the length, center, suppose 4, let's say 4. I give 7. So it is centered, right? Now I'll fill this the left and right. Let us see. Now it has filled with white spaces. Can we fill with any other characters? We'll see. Dollar. Yes. So that is called center. So these 3 LGIST, RGIST, and center, they are used for the string alignment. And remember that when we are giving RGIST, LGIST, or center, we need to mention width. This is called width or the length you have to mention. So it will be filled with the white spaces. Also, you can fill with some characters. This is an optional. We can give characters. We can use characters to fill the spaces, or directly we can give the length for the alignment, right? That is the right justification, left justification, and centering. And then you have another one called similar to this alignments. What that is called Z-fill. So I think by name you can understand that is it fills with the zeros. It starts with zeros. Let us see what is called Z-fill. Right. So it Z-fill, so you have to give the length obviously because already 3 characters are there. So the other 4 characters that are filled with the zeros. So it adds number of zeros specified by the length. So the length we have specified as 7. So it has filled because already 3 characters are there. The remaining 4 are filled with zeros. That is called Z-fill. So these all methods are for the string alignment. And then we have another one called the partition. Let us see what is called partition. Suppose x is equal to one more method, A, B, C, and D. And if I give x dot partition, now I can give partition always contains inside a separator. So where I want to separate this string. So what the partition does is, let us see what it does first. I'll say suppose B. So separate at B. See what happened. This is a tuple. So whenever we use partition, it splits the string, right? Exactly where it is putting on separator into a tuple with the 3 strings. That is called the partition method. The first part is before separator. The second part is exactly at the separator, and the third part of the tuple is after the separator. So it partitions the string into 3 parts and forms into a tuple. So the first part is before separator, and this is separator and after separator. Let us see, let us take one more example, and then you'll understand better about the partition. Suppose if I take suppose E and F, and say to partition at B and C. So it returns a tuple consisting of 3 elements. One before BC, that it should return A, and BC, the separator, is the second one in the tuple, and DEF the third. Let us check this. Right. So this is called partition. And then there is another one that is called R partition. Let us see if, what is the difference between the partition and R partition. Suppose if we take R partition. So what it does is there any difference? No. The R partition, what generally does is, it splits the string at the last occurrence of the separator string. So if the separator is not found, it returns the empty character. Suppose if I give the elements which are not there, the characters which are not in the string, so then it has to return C, the empty characters. So in the previous case of partition, if you see, the tuple contains before separator, separator, and after separator. And here if you see this, because this is not available in the R partition, so it has written empty spaces. If suppose we give as A, what it returns, let us see. See, so this is called right partition. So it has written an empty space. So the first one is the empty space. Second part is the separator, and the third part is the remaining part of the string. Whereas in this partition case, it has divided into 3: separator, before separator, and after separator. But here the separator, after separator, and an empty space. So that is the difference between partition and R partition. I hope you all understood these methods. So in this video, I covered about the searching strings, that is inbuilt methods for searching strings, like ends with, starts with, count, find, and R find. And then the alignments, for the string alignment, we have left justification, right justification, and center. And the method contains the length, so how many places it has to fill, it has to align, that should be mentioned inside this. And we can fill with any characters or letters or special symbols, but this is optional, but this is mandatory. The length should be given. So that is left justification, right justification, and center. And also we have zero fill, where the empty spaces are filled with zeros by shifting, right? That because this string consists of only 3 characters, and we asked to zero fill up to 7. So the remaining 4 are filled with zeros. And then partition, which splits the string based on the separator, that what we mentioned inside the method. So this is called the separator. And in a partition, it returns a separator, before separator, and after separator. It forms a tuple of 3 elements consisting of before separator, separator, and after separator. And R partition returns separator, and after separator and an empty space. That is called R partition, right partition. So I hope you all understood this methods. Thank you.